Hey guys, Mr. Seek here. This video is about the CT side of Inferno and a few setups. How about I'll call them set pieces instead of setups, because they can be called at the beginning of the round. I will usually call one at the beginning of the round, but I can call them at any point. Any point up until the terrorists have a bomb site. First one I'm going to talk about is B control. Then I'll go into mid and apartments, but we're talking about B first because banana is the most important area of the map that is not a bomb site. And it takes a lot of utility to take B control as a terrorist. There's a couple of mollies I want to show you guys. There's a smoke I want to show you guys. And if the terrorist side isn't using a lot of utility, I might call this every round of a CT side if the CTs don't know how to use proper utility. And it takes 3 people, which seems weird because normally there's only 2 people playing at B. I will explain right after I show you the mollies. So 3 people are going B. That'll be Savage. That'll be the other B player, and that'll be the mid player. I say the other B player and the mid player, even though those players have been Daff and myself for a while, because I want to talk to you guys at practice about switching up some of the roles. I think Otown and Savage are very well suited for the places they're playing on the map. But the rest, I shouldn't say, yeah. The rest of us, I think, have been having problems and would be better suited elsewhere. And I want to hear your guys. I want to hear if you agree, if you have seen the same things I've seen. But for this video, I will be talking about, or I will just be calling, instead of using player names, just playing positions, because I think we'll move positions shortly. First guy. Savage. If you've got the best spawn, you will come up here and you will molly, bounce it over the car right behind the wall. That one has to be first because if it's a Tech 9 rush and they're behind the wall, then no matter how many mollies we throw, they can always come out from around the corner and get 2 lucky fucking headshots. Okay, second guy is going to be me if I have an op, or it's going to be Savage if he has an op. And as you're coming around this corner, you look at this fence post. Reason for that being, it mollies both corners on the right side as you're a terrorist. So right side if you're a terrorist, left side if you're a counter-terrorist. So this is mollied, this is mollied. Only places they can hide are here, in the middle of nothing, like no cover, and back here. So the third guy will be whoever doesn't have an op. I put a bullet hole here a minute ago because I wasn't thinking. There's a rust-colored spot on the texture right here. What happens is you line up to it and you look at the bottom of this window and the door, and like halfway between, and then you jump throw with the smoke. Whoops, I messed it up a little bit. I threw it a little too far left. So let's just put it a pixel to the right and throw that one. There we go. The bad smoke is in the way, but the deep smoke is there. What happened is it landed like there and bounced, landed. So as long as the smoke hits the wall there, it'll smoke off the bottom of that, leaving our opper free to peek. So peek wood. So peek the right side, then peek the left side, and a rifler. Oh, it says I already bought one. So where did I put my rifle? Opper peeks car. Opper peeks the right side. Rifler peeks the left side, and that'll cover all the spots for banana. And what happens after that is the opper can get into an off angle like this and just hold it. I can't buy another op because I've bought too many of them. So I'm buying a scout. And you just hold hold the smoke. And you do that for the rest of the round. The benefits of this are if the T's are rushing, they get burnt to a crisp, and by the time they get out of the mollies, they have 10 health, and we have 2 riflers there and an opper. The opper might die. The opper might get 1 kill and die, but the riflers should get some spray down rounds if the terrorists are trying to rush it. So I will talk about the opposite side of the map now. The reason I'm doing that is because the weakness of playing 3B at the beginning of the round is either apartments or mid are very exposed. So you guys have a couple of options. You can either play passive, where Otown is holding an angle like this, and our pit guy is holding an angle like that, but that which works, nothing wrong with that, especially if it's an anti-eco round. That makes a lot of sense. This angle is nice because you can peek mid and then boiler separately if your movement is better than mine. Anyway, the other option is to play in apartments. The next 5 minutes of this video, I shouldn't say 5 minutes, 3 minutes of this video will be describing, we'll be focusing on paths for Otown, paths of travel out of spawn. So, what I saw in a couple of your Inferno demos is you'd come here and you'd jump across. I don't like that because there's a tendency that you get opt against decent oppers. So if you want to go somewhere fast, throw a smoke. I mean, that's a bad smoke. So throw a better smoke. And then you can get in here and they know you might be there, they don't know where you are. You're up here. This is not a bad angle to watch, although you are exposed, so Otown, if you want to play in boiler, let the pit guy know, whether that's Salami or Daff. I don't think it'll be me, because I've been opping so much. Oppers don't really play pit much. That's more a rifling position, because it's really hard to op people if they're jumping at you. Anyway, so Salami has been playing here. Whoever's the pit guy, communicate with Otown. Say, Otown, where are you playing? If he says he's playing porch, you play like this angle, or this angle, or in pit. Those are the main options. If he says he's going to play boiler, you play here. Yep. If he says he's going to play close apps, you play here. Those are the options. Now that last one I haven't talked about for Otown, from Otown's perspective, how to play close apps. One way to do it is to throw, hey, I got a proper smoke, is to throw that and then jump across and then hold this angle. Major problem is how you jump across, and this might be mollied. If they play T side the way we play it, that will be mollied. How you solve that is you say, hey, I'm going to be playing close apps, so let's do it together. In which case, you and the pit player both come out library. The fastest way is to jump on that barrel, then jump straight to this barrel. There's a little bit of a strafe jump involved, and you can get all the way up here. You'd have to start walking because they can hear you, blah, blah, blah. But you can get into this corner, especially Deagles, or a 5.7, or a P250, or if you're trying to tase someone. Otown here and Salami or Daff here is a winning combination. And if you hear anyone, excuse me, that will fuck them up. It's not the best pop flash. There's a sound. They do see it for a little while. However, I wouldn't dodge it. If I was holding this, I'd say, oh, what's that? Fuck! And then I'd be blind already. That's what would happen. So those are the two apartment controls. You can do that. You can do apartment control no matter if we're doing B control. You can do banana control and apartments control at the same time. Unlike mid control. Mid control is a little different. It's harder to do mid control and B control at the same time. Can be done. Don't really recommend it. I will mention how you can do it in this video. So the last thing is mid control. If we have 3 players on A, which means we're just playing a default B, let's say we smoke that. Wow, that was bad. And we've got two riflers on B. Then for the mid control, if Mr. Seek has an op, scout it is. I don't peek this. Maybe 1 out of 3 times I get a kill, I peek. 1 out of 3 times I die, and actually it's more like 2 out of 3 times I die. So I often peek Mexi. So if they try and do some strafe jumping out and get into Mexi, I can pick them off. And if I can hold this for maybe 4 seconds before they can push me alt mid. Not a problem. So I hold, nothing, okay. And then I'll hold this. And then I just hold this for the rest of the round. If I have a flash, I'll peek out, but usually I don't. What does that mean for the rest of you guys? So, Otown, if I am awping, I don't want you smoking that, which means you're taking the long way. That's where I put my op. Whatever. Which means you're taking the long way, Otown. And you can either hold this, or you can hold boiler, or you can hold boiler like that, or you can come back here with salami and hold like a, this is better, hold an angle like that, where you can still escape into sight. But if we're doing a mid control, watch mid, pretty much. And then whoever's playing pit, just watch the balcony so Otown doesn't get backstabbed. Two guys on B are playing passive, letting the T's throw all their utility. One scenario is I go for the Mexico peak at first. I don't get it. Maybe I get something, maybe I don't. And there's a whole bunch of nades B. Maybe there's 2 nades and a smoke at B. It's like, okay, I say I'm rotating B from mid. I will take this rotation because if you rotate using that bit, they can hear you if they have car control. And I might come up to here and I'll say, okay, I'm doing the deep molly. Say Savage is here. There's this, whoops. Wow, did that really do that? I didn't think that would happen. Let's try a higher one. So there's that smoke, that molly, that molly. So you guys can throw that shit, and then assuming I have the op, and then I can peek banana. And once we have banana control, I might just hold this for a while too. Once we have banana control, you guys can rotate A. Like CT Default Inferno is very much about rotating from A to B, trying to get like 3 guys on B, or 2 guys, one of them has an op at B, and 4 at A, or 4 at A. Like, it's very much like, because it's so hard to retake these sites, that it's very important to guess correctly. Any other mid-control setups? Yes, the last thing. Let's say they haven't been doing, or let's say it's an anti-eco round. We want to cover mid because they've been hitting it a lot, especially on ecos, and we want to cover B because B hits are very common on eco rounds. what am I going to call? I might call B control early and hold mid rather than apps. That requires a little bit of quick thinking by Otown and whoever ends up playing pit. I'm going to just, let's say Salami's going to be daft. Whatever. Whoever's playing pit will, if you have a smoke, it's a good idea to smoke it since you won't have an AWPer over here. Smoke it and then hold this kind of angle. Holding the smoke, possibly this so you can't get shot from boiler. And then Otown, instead of crossing, you can play close, you can play in the cubby, you can play here. You can play in a weird spot and just like look at the smoke, although I would recommend standing here instead of here, because if you're here you might get like opt, because if there's a smoke here I might just like look, like if there's a smoke I can still see where the roof is. I know it's like, where is it? Oh, there it is. And if you're standing there, you're not, like, if you're standing like right at the corner, you're not gonna have a good time. Weaknesses of all these: if you're taking apps control, mid's a little bit weak. If you take B control, mid or apps is a little bit weak. Depending on what the A players are doing. If we take if we decide to take like close apps control, mid's a little weak, even if we have someone here. If we just like, there's all kinds of trade-offs. So the way to win lots and lots of CT rounds, especially if a team is better than you, is do gambling stuff. Like, say, I think they're going to go B, let's stack it. I think they're going to go A, let's stack it. I think they're going to wait for a long time. Okay, let's do something for the first 30 seconds and then turn our CT setup on its head, so that they say, oh, they throw that smoke that they throw every time there's not an AWP or mid. And then we rotate an AWP mid so that when the smoke fades, there's an AWP here. Like, there's all sorts of fun stuff we can do. I've talked for forever. This is a giant video. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you at practice.